Welcome to episode 74 of Rebirth Revolution. My name is Melissa Olson. It's been a crazy week of weather extremes. Where I live, it reached the lowest temperature I have ever experienced here. Of course, the snow and resulting disasters in Texas broke all of our hearts. This is becoming more and more commonplace. There are many things that we can decide to ignore, but climate change is not going to be one of them. The toll in lives and property and crops will devastate us all. Let's hope for a calmer week. This week, we try to stay on track by finishing out the New Year's resolutions, beginning with number 10. This is the year when we will seek assistance from unseen sources. It is part of the culture we live in here on Earth to seek to understand what is happening by putting it all into the smallest box possible. For many people, it is scary to think that there is anything beyond the physical realm as we see it before us. But obviously, that isn't true because it takes nothing more than a simple microscope to reveal that there is much more going on than we can see with the naked eye. This self-imposed limitation of thinking also installs boundaries around the type of help we can summon. For some, few things outside of a physical life preserver are seen as ways we can help ourselves. There is so much more. While we are having this earth experience, there are also fully alive souls who are having experiences elsewhere. They are at our disposal should we ask for their help. Everyone who has ever existed is still very much alive and available for comfort and assistance, but only if we request that. No soul can intervene in your life without your permission. Ask for help. It would thrill them to continue to be involved in your journey. In addition to our guides and ancestors, the Earth School has been stocked with all sorts of natural phenomenon that carry forms of energy that we can use to help us through this experience. These are found in plants, rocks, soil, fire, and the powerful sun. Plants can create the food that alters our minds and bodies, along with producing medicines and powerful oils. The rock formations can produce crystals that radiate energy. The soil is grounding and soul cleansing, and sitting around a fire changes everything. There are powerful planetary influences, and then there is the sun. Not only does the sun keep us from freezing, it provides a sense of well-being that is unparalleled. To turn your face to the sun after being stuck inside the house is an immediate mood shifter. The world around us offers a multitude of tools that we can employ to make this time here easier and more exciting. And there are surely many tools that we have yet to discover. Even if you reject the theory that objects can influence how you feel, the very act of choosing to try something for a specific reason is the act of setting and expressing an intention, which is a powerful tool in and of itself. Get out of the tiny box of what the culture tells you is reasonable and acceptable. Use your intuition to seek out the avenues that make you the healthiest and happiest that you can be. This is the type of thing that really helps you figure yourself out. Instead of relying on scholarly papers on what the different elements and gifts we are surrounded by can or cannot do. You have the opportunity to try for yourself and see what works for your specific wiring and soul. If it works for you and does no harm, then you don't need the buy-in from anyone else. You are your own project. All of these things are here for a reason. Don't miss out. Let this be the year when you are open to exploring it all. Resolution number 11. We will volunteer to be the highest level of help we can be in every moment. When we think of volunteering or helping, we think of doing the acts of service for others, such as helping out financially, giving people what they lack, or being of physical assistance. These are all great and more necessary than ever. But this year, we will also go deeper. Some of the most powerful work we can do is sometimes the most subtle. One part of this that I listed previously was to smile at people. That's more difficult to do with a mask on, but not impossible. I've noticed that I can give and receive smiles using eyes alone. And it's so much more important now that we are in this pandemic and we are all feeling disconnected and are appropriately concerned about even being out in public. We need this more than ever. In addition to a smile that is transmitted with your entire face, giving people the physical distance that makes them feel safer is a way of showing respect and concern. Acknowledging people is an act of love. Putting out good vibes in public spaces is certainly something that we can do. The atmosphere is tense enough. We can be the soothing energy in any and all spaces. Another way is to listen when people tell you what they are dealing with without feeling the need to comment or disagree or minimize by sharing something even more troubling. Being a safe space for people to share is an act of love. And this is not always easy to do. Some people want help with a solution while others just want to talk it out. It's good to know which you're dealing with. If they just want to talk it out, then you need to let them try to connect the dots before them, because that is the path to growth and understanding. We don't want to interfere with anyone else's path to growth and understanding. That's not how this works. Another way to help is to be the calm in a chaotic situation. My father, a proud Norwegian, always preached to us that in any given situation, the person with the coolest head was always the winner. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give is to be the coolest head in the room. If others are upset and chaotic, you need to resist being pulled into that energy and instead be the source of calm and reason in their presence. To meet them at their current level of energy will only make matters worse. Be the demonstration of a different type of energy. It's not a judgment of their current state, because there's no shame in feeling lots of overwhelming feelings. It is part of the experience. It is just that anyone who can remain calm should do so to bring down the temperature in the room. There are so many ways that we interact with our own people, as well as people in the world who we do not yet know and love. The kindest, most compassionate energy we can share with the world around us will undoubtedly make the world a better place. And for our final resolution for 2021, number 12, we will continue to move in the direction of feeling nothing but love and compassion for ourselves and others. It is always easiest to feel love and compassion for yourself and others when everything is going according to plan. When we are all in the best case scenario, we are productive and therefore successful. And we have fewer emotional upsets because no one is rocking the boat. Everyone knows what they need to do on any given day to receive the results that they desire. There's less bumping up against one another because everyone has a clearly defined lane. In the absence of external crisis, we can keep it together, which makes us more loving and compassionate. When the crisis hits, though, we are stripped back down to our more primal self. This is when love and compassion begin to feel like luxuries. This is when it feels like they might be optional. In the state the world is in today, we don't have even 5 minutes when there isn't a crisis going on because we have this pandemic. Over 500,000 people in the United States have already died from it. Layer on top of that the weather-related disasters, the difficult economy, the fact that a violent coup attempt happened in our own country. The lives of everyday people have been drastically altered, and you end up with a country full of stressed out people. Everyone is having to rethink their lives and adapt to these difficult times. It's more than a lot. It's way too much. Do not lose sight of the fact that this time we are living in right now will be studied forevermore. It will be seen as a time when everything came crashing down at once, and what we did to survive it will be what created where the whole story went from there. This is a huge turning point for our civilization, so cut yourself some slack. Also, make your choices as if they shape the future, because they surely will. So how do we muster up some love and compassion? Let's start with ourselves. In the years before the pandemic, we had put together routines that made space for us to achieve the things that made us feel good about ourselves, and we had constructed lives that allowed us the experiences that fed our souls. Then that all came crashing down. Our identities have been scrambled. Suddenly, we've had to rethink everything about how our lives work and who we are. Many were forced to take on roles that they never would have chosen otherwise, or worse yet, stripped of any and all roles that brought their life meaning and joy. It's hard to feel good about yourself when you feel you are failing at tasks on a daily basis or have no way to demonstrate your usefulness. This is why having compassion and love for ourselves is such a huge issue. If beating yourself up for all the ways you feel you were coming up short was the path to growth and redemption, I would suggest that you take that path. But it doesn't work that way. Being hard on yourself is disempowering. It is destructive. It does not help you or anyone else who is in your life. These are the days when you need to look extra hard for the win. Find it in every little thing you are able to accomplish, and find it in every way that you are able to pivot to meet the times. None of it is easy, and all of it is worthy of your respect. So many have suffered losses of all different kinds. Everyone will need to go through the stages of grief, whether it was a person you lost in the pandemic or the loss of your livelihood as a result of the pandemic. If you aren't feeling the grief yet because you are still in survival mode, you need to know that it's coming. It will hit you when your brain feels you are more equipped to deal with it. We have also lost people to something other than death. We have lost some of them to a mind virus. Some people we have lost are currently in a fever dream where reality does not exist. They are caught up in lies and conspiracy theories and cannot seem to face reality. These people may be lost for quite a while. We can't necessarily speed up their reclamation, but we also cannot pretend that their reality is ours. These losses may take years or a lifetime to play out. It's painful to watch so many mainline disinformation until they are spewing crazy, cruel ideas. But that is their situation to straighten out. They will need to deal with the consequences of their choices, whether through legal means or through the loss of important relationships. We need to trust that the process will play out as it needs to. Losses cannot be glossed over. They must be felt and understood if we are to be able to get up the next day, putting one foot in front of the other. Every loss you are able to survive is worthy of your respect. Even though it is a part of life for everyone, it is still some of the hardest work that we do. Treat it as such. Be kind and loving towards yourself and others. We are living in extraordinary times. Thanks for listening to Rebirth Revolution. I appreciate your time. I hope these resolutions have helped you zero in on what matters to you this year. I hope it offers food for thought. We're going to keep putting one foot in front of the other, trying to be a little better each day. Even moving a fraction of an inch each day will add up to big gains by the end of this year. We don't know what the rest of the year will hold for us, but we do know that we can get more prepared and feel more gratitude when we meet whatever the next challenge may be. Until next week, be open to all assistance that may be coming your way. Let your positivity shine. Cut yourself some slack and wear your mask. Remember, you are loved exactly as much as every other person on the planet, not 1 ounce more or 1 ounce less. Stay strong and safe and joyful.